What's good, Tamers? This is Akiro from Lockout Games bringing you a deck showcase between Baihumon on the left and DexDorugoromon on the right. So DexDorugoromon is going to start off with Dorimon in the back row and then go into Coda Demoto, so that's going to set the Baihumon player to 4, but it is going to make sure that they have something to digivolve into. It looks like they might have actually missed their level 3s, and they're going to have their memory reset for the rest of the game, so they don't have to worry about being memory choked. Bahumon's going to start off by hatching a Kaporimon in the back row, and then digivolving that into the Promo Tsunorizamon. From there, we see a Tai Kamiya memory resetter being placed in the back row that's going to boost up all of their black Digimon on their opponent's turn by 1,000, and then digivolving for 2 into a Cyclomon. The Kodo is going to actually go up to 3, and then we see a black memory boost, so it looks like the Dex player really needs a level 3, and we do see one in their hand now. They are able to pull that from their search and able to actually start digivolving. However, the memory is pretty nice, as they are going to be able to take a turn and go up to 5 memory if they want, which is a decent amount considering the X-antibody decks are able to digivolve for really cheap on top of their own Digimon. We do see the DexDorugoromon going to digivolve in the back row, getting them a level 4 and setting the Baihumon player to 4. Cyclomon is promoted for the turn, and it's going to be digivolved into a Volcanomon. So we do see the theme of this deck being dual-colored Digimons and a lot of security attack as inheritable effects. But Maki Himikawa gets played in the back row that's going to let them look for a Tapirmon and a dual-colored black Digimon. It looks like they have a decent amount of choices, but they're going to take the Metal Greymon that lets you de-digivolve by 1 and then wipe out a DP 3000 or less Digimon. We do see the DexDorugoromon get promoted on the X-antibody player side of the field, and they set their memory to 0. It seems like they want to digivolve into a level 5, and it looks like they're going to go into a Doru Greymon. Now this card is really strong. It's able to place a evolution source underneath of it and then protect itself by not being able to be deleted by card effects or have its DP minus at all. So it's a level 5 that's sitting pretty strong, and they do gain 1 memory because of that. And then they're going to digivolve straight into the DexDorugoromon from there. That is going to let them trash a card, and it looks like they're going to get rid of the DexDorugoromon for that, gaining a memory and continuing their turn. Let's see if they want to try and digivolve into it. They do set their opponent to 4, and we do see the DexDorugoromon. This is going to be a slight misplay, as DexDorugoromon's effect isn't going to actually trigger if it's digivolved straight on top of a DexDorugoromon, but it will be rectified later on in the game, so no worries. We do see a Hopmon being hatched in the back row, and then a Toy Agumon being digivolved on top of that, having the inheritable of Reboot, which is pretty strong in this deck, as there are blockers, just like Monochromon. So this is going to get digivolved for 2 in the back row, still leaving the Baihumon player at 2, and they do have a decent amount of plays that they go into. They could either place a Digimon directly from their hand and try and build up 2 at the same time, or they could try and build on top of that Monochromon, which is going to be able to block if it's pushed up next turn. But let's see what they go into. Seems like they're really thinking and then checking the DexDorugoramon's ability. So right here is actually where we catch the ability going off that shouldn't have, as they should have digivolved either on top of a Dorugoromon or from the trash. So the player would have been able to actually use that purple option, and that would have actually let them digivolve from the trash, as they did trash one earlier. So everything is set, and then we do see a Grizzlymon being played onto the field. Over on the deck side player to the field, we see a Dorimon get digivolved into a Dorumon, and then the 3-drop draw Dorimon is placed onto the field. Looks like they're going to discard a DexDorugoromon, and they're going to draw 2 cards from there. Then popping the black memory boost, are going to go up to 2 to continue their turn. Dorugomon gets digivolved in the back row for 2. That's going to set the Dex player down to 0, and it looks like they're wanting to swing in with the DexDorugoromon. It does have 2 checks right now due to the Dorugreymon that's underneath of it, so let's see what it reveals. The first check is going to be a Tapirmon, which isn't strong enough to defeat it, and the second is going to be a Tamer, so Maki Himikawa is going to hit the field, and it looks like a Black War Greymon, a Magidramon, and then a Tapirmon. So it looks like they're going to take the Black War Greymon and the Tapirmon, put those into their hands, so they are going to have some stuff to go into next turn. At this point, the match is in an interesting situation. There are 2 Digimon and now 3 Digimon on the field, as another Dorumon was played, allowing them to draw 2 more cards after they discard 1. But the Dex player has 3 Digimon on their side of the field, 5 security, and the Baihumon player has 1 Digimon on the field right now, but another that can be pushed up that has blocker. They do have a lot of ways to go into their ultimates and then eventually their megas, as there's 2 Makis on the field, which are going to get suspended right now, and that's going to reduce the play cost of this Metal Greymon by 2, making it only cost 2. That's going to de-digivolve the DexDorugoromon and allow the Metal Greymon to swing in and take out the DexDorugoromon right now, as it is at 9k due to the Hopmon underneath of it and them having at least 1 Black Tamer on the field. With getting rid of that Digimon, the Dex player no longer represents lethal, as they only have 2 Digimon on the battle zone and then 1 in the back. So the Grizzlymon swings in and actually survives, only being at 6k right now, not hitting anything too powerful. And then we go into the Black War Greymon on top of the Metal Greymon. Using its ability, it's going to take out both of the Dorumon, and it's going to restand because of it. Over on the Dex player side of the field, we see the Dorugomon getting placed up into the battle area and then Digivolving into the DexDorugoromon from there. That's going to let them pitch a card to their trash, gain a memory for that, and extend their turn, so they are at 4 memory right now. And then we see the Death Xmon just being hard played onto the field, so that is going to de-Digivolve the Black War Greymon, and it's going to get rid of the Grizzlymon, so now they're going to have to rebuild on the Baihumon side of the field. They do have a decent amount of memory at this point though, and they are still holding on to what looks like a Death Xmon themselves, and maybe a level 6 as well, so let's see what they go into. They're going to start off their turn by hatching a Hotmon in the back row. And I'll say at this point in the game, I think that Hotmon is one of the better Digitamas for black, as it's pretty general, giving plus 1000 as long as you have a black tamer, which isn't really hard to do. But they are going to Digivolve that Hotmon into a Tapirmon, and it looks like they really want to play that Baihumon, and they do. Because of its effect, the amount of unsuspended Digimon and Tamers that they have on the Dex player side of the field, the Baihumon's only going to cost 2 to go into, so they are going to be left with 1 memory. And they do need an answer for the Death Xmon right now, or at least some way to play around it, but they answer with their own Death Xmon. This card is really powerful. At the end of the turn, Baihumon's ability is going to go off first. They are going to be able to trash some security before it is destroyed due to the Death Xmon's ability. And then now both players are left with 1 Digimon on the side of the field. Starting off the Dex player's turn, they hatch a Dorumon in the back row. And they are going to have to rebuild at this point. They do have a strong level 7, but it is just going to get deleted if they don't get other Digimon on the field. And they play a Dorumon. Looking at the top 3 cards, it seems like they're going to grab a Dorugomon. That's going to let them Digivolve in the front row if they want to. But really, both players just need to deal with each other's Death Xmon, because it is really annoying deleting one of your Digimon at the end of your turn. So Dorugomon gets Digivolved onto the battle area. Looks like they may be trying to search for a card or some sort of answer before the Death Xmon takes out another Digimon, and they go for the Death X Digivolution. This is going to let them Digivolve from their trash into the DexDorugoromon, and because of that, they are going to be able to gain a memory after trashing a card. Looks like they get rid of a Dorugoromon, and they still have 6 memory, so they are able to keep going with these Digivolutions right now. Let's see what they get into. Looks like they're spending 3 right now, and they're deciding to go into the DexDorugoromon without the Dorugoromon underneath of it, but going up into a level 5, they might be able to get into a level 6 and still keep their turn. It isn't going to be able to swing this turn because they did just play this Digimon on the field, but they go into the Dorugoromon. So it is going to be pretty powerful, and they are at 0 memory, so if they Digivolve from the trash somehow into a DexDorugoromon, they will be able to get rid of that Death Xmon that's on the field right now. It looks like they might be searching at this point, trying to dig deeper into their deck and get a DexDorugoromon, and if they can get into it, it would really help them right now, just being able to wipe out that Death Xmon off the field. So they set the Baihumon player to 4, and it looks like they Digivolve into the DexDorugoromon. So that's going to get rid of the Death Xmon, reset the board, and at this point, Baihumon really needs to start getting more board presence or finding some way to get rid of this level 6 and 7, because if they stay on the board, they're not going to be able to really keep a Digimon forward without having to play multiple Digimon and pretty much sacrifice 1 each turn. Using 3 memory, they're going to play a black memory boost, leaving themselves at 1, but searching the top 4, and it looks like they have some decent choices. A Deltamon, a Black War Greymon, and a Cyclomon. Looks like they go for the Deltamon. This will help them with future plays. They are going to be able to reduce the Deltamon play by 2, make it only cost 1 because of the Makis. So that's one of the powerful things about this deck, that they're able to pretty much get rid of a lot of the expensive cost to Digivolve by reducing them. And then an Iron Fisted Onslaught is going to take out the Death Xmon. It's going to leave the Dex player with 8, but it does make it to where they don't have to sacrifice a Digimon this turn. And all that's left on the board is a DexDorugoromon. It doesn't have any extra security attacks, so it is only going to be able to swing in for 1 each turn, and it really can't Digivolve into anything bigger except for Death Xmon, but we have seen 2 already be used. A Dorugoromon is placed directly onto the field, and then an X-antibody underneath that. The DexDorugoromon is going to swing in. It should only be checking 1 at this point. Let's see what it hits. It looks like a Cyclomon, so nothing bad is going to happen to it. The Baihumon player is down to 2 security right now, and I would say at this point both sides of the board are pretty even. There is a decent amount of tamers on the Baihumon player side of the field, and going into a Dorugoromon is going to protect that from anything that's going to try and get rid of it outright or reduce its DP. So the Baihumon player doesn't have a lot of ways to get rid of it outside of de-digivolving it. In the back row they hatch a Hopmon, and it looks like they're just talking about Dorugoremon's ability right now. So they digivolve the Hopmon into the Promo Tsunarizumon in the back row. This is going to help out if they can get into a level 6 that is going to be able to swing in. And using both of the Makis, it looks like they're going to want to digivolve on top of the Deltamon. When you combo this with Maki, it's able to really reduce the cost of the next Digivolution, and we see that with the Metal Greymon. They actually go into it for free because it is a dual-colored black card, and then Maki reduces it by 2 as well. It's going to de-digivolve the DexDorugoromon down into a Dorugoromon. And it looks like they might be contemplating popping the Black Memory Boost. They do, so they are going to go up to 6. They have a decent amount of memory at this point. They can go into any of their level 6s, and a Baihumon right now would be very powerful, and that's exactly what they go into. Looks like they're going to unsuspend, or at least think about unsuspending the Dorugoromon. That would make it cost 4 less, and it looks like that's what they go into, so it's only going to cost 1 to go into a level 6. It's 13k right now. It's not able to swing in and take out the Dorugoromon, but with a final Zubogon Punch, it is going to be checking 2 security per swing, and then with the Tapiromon and the Hopmon, it's sitting at an impressive 18k DP, has reboot and blocker while checking 2, and one of those checks is going to be a Black Memory Boost that's going to go on the Dex player side of the field, but they do still have 2 memory on the Baihumon side, and at the end of this turn, no matter what, they are going to get rid of that last security check just due to the Baihumon's ability. And finishing off the turn, they're going to Ultimate Flare. That's going to de-digivolve the Dorugoromon and bring it all the way down to a Darugomon, and at that point, the Dex player has a lot of memory, but they are going to have to find a way to either finish this game or get rid of the Baihumon and somehow put up a blocker, as there is 2 checks coming in from the Baihumon player next turn. So it seems like they're searching right now, and they actually don't have a lot of cards in their hand. That is one of the problems with X-antibody, is after it uses all of its Digivolution sources and goes and plays a really strong Digimon, if they are dealt with, they don't have a lot of stuff in their hands unless they play something like the Metal Cannon, which is going to be able to replenish their hand for the turn. After digivolving into Hasaryumon, it looks like they have 0 memory left, and they're going to go into the DexDorugoromon, but because it doesn't have the Dorugoromon underneath of it, or it didn't digivolve from the trash, it isn't going to be able to get rid of anything, and at that point they're going to concede, and Baihumon actually takes this game. So if you enjoyed the match and would like to see non-meta deck showcases, please like and leave a comment on the video, and don't forget to subscribe while you're at it, as it really does help out the channel, and we are steadily growing. Well, Tamers, it's been fun, and until next time, let's get that gate closed.